I think she's just brilliant, Sarah Burton. And what's amazing about her, in the same way which was true of Alexander, this label is completely in its own universe, you know? But it's connected to our universe, and that's what's so incredible. This was so delicious, this collection, wasn't it? It was like the most delicious summer day of your life, and you fall asleep and you have this wild and crazy dream, and a bee bites you, and that's how you wake up. It was really like that, you know? It was so delicious to look at, but it had its sting, you know? And she used the whole metaphor, of course, of the bee and the hive, and it was just, I think people just loved it.
Is there any wonder there's so much buzz around this collection, literally and figuratively? The idea of beekeepers and, of course, honeycombs throughout the entire collection. I'm loving all the bustiers that were actually a fantastic jacquarded honeycomb that topped a honeycomb lace. And the interesting use of amber, almost tortoiseshell, that was worked inside of a bustier and also as cuffs on many of the models that were studded with Napoleonic bees that looked like honey against the skin.
Oh my God, it was beautiful. I think every time you come here and look at a Sarah Burton collection, it's just ravishing. I mean, I've looked at the brocade, the tortoiseshell, the way that she constructs everything, the corsetry. I mean, it really is art, the way that she does this. I mean, it's clothes, but it's so incredibly imagined.
I think that she's such an amazing craftswoman, and she sort of digs so deep in her ideas. And I thought that the bee was a nice connection with other things that Alexander McQueen was interested in towards the end of his life, especially the under the sea aquatic collection. So I appreciated that.
I particularly loved the amazing cage effect of a corset, which is something we see here at Alexander McQueen by Sarah Burton often, that were over the top of a jacket or a bustier, and then a cage skirt that was topped with beautiful soft chiffon with interesting ruched banding that went all the way around the skirts in either a beautiful beige or a honey yellow. You know, it's wildly creative, it makes us dream, it's a fantasy, and their clothes customers love to buy and collect.
The McQueen show this year for me just felt a lot lighter. We were backstage and she was discussing how the first sort of 14 looks were made out of like a synthetic plastic that had been embossed, and the whole idea of germination and nature. I loved all the honeycomb idea of the print that was sort of explored in sort of varying degrees of transparency in lace and different embroidered, technically beautiful things, you know, brought a much lighter, optimistic feel to it, which I loved. I loved it so much.
I think what Sarah's really done is taken the essence of McQueen and what Lee did and really keep moving it forward in a way that's very, I look at this and I know people are going to think I'm crazy, but there's something very accessible about the way that she's approaching the McQueen collection every single season. As fantasy as it is for a lot of different women, there is actually really great clothes and great silhouettes in there.
And of course, the bees got to pollinate somewhere, so big, amazing, over-the-top, almost Scarlett O'Hara gowns that were decorated with dimensional flowers in yellow, orange, and white. Amazing collection. It's always a tour de force.
Evolving constantly, which I think, it's becoming more and more feminine, which I love. And you feel like it is really her now, still respecting the house. I think a lot of the problem with a lot of the shows that take on the names of other brands is there's such a little sort of consideration for what came before. I think, no, you're not supposed to replicate, but it's brilliant to consider what came before and evolve beyond that, but still keeping the sort of essence of the person who was there, The sentiment was brilliant. It was so good.